The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
See that cute little dog in the pet store window? Chances are it came from a puppy mill. A breeding facility that forces caged, neglected, and often sick dogs to churn out puppy after puppy to be sold for profit. Meanwhile, millions of wonderful, healthy pets end up in animal shelters. This leads to the killing of more than 9,000 by the end of today. But with one simple choice, you can help. Just by deciding to adopt instead of purchase your next pet. Animal shelters are full of amazing pets looking for a home. When you adopt your new best friend, not only are you saving a life, you're taking a stand against puppy mills. When your friends see the smart choice and impact you've made, they adopt their next pet and share with 5 of their friends, who share with 5 more. Before long, thousands get involved. Pet stores stop selling dogs from puppy mills, and even more lives are saved. And with your help, we can save them all. Visit bestfriends.org/puppymills to learn more.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
The human voice. It can be sweet as music, powerful as thunder,
and so, my fellow Americans,
cheerful as laughter. But for millions of people, it can also be a sign of COPD. This serious lung disease can make it so hard to breathe, you often can't catch a breath or finish a sentence, let alone carry a tune. And many who have COPD don't even know it. That's where your voice comes in. If you think you or a loved one have symptoms, talk with a healthcare provider. Early diagnosis can mean better treatments and quality of life. Join us in raising our voices for the millions with COPD who can't. Learn more, breathe better at NIH.gov.
As a mother, you don't want to have to worry about this bill is coming, but then she needs this chemo. That's a decision you shouldn't have to make.
It's a huge burden lifted financially, and so it allows you to give singular focus to your child. I've never known a hospital that takes care of their patients so thoroughly.
That was the first thing I was like, how are we going to do this? When they told us that we didn't have to pay a single bill, I was like, wow. They pretty much have saved us.
It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders, and now your focus is supporting this child.
There is not another hospital like St. Jude. The patient care is unmatchable. It saved my life. It saved my daughter's life. It saved our family.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
The following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Welcome to Friday. Welcome to Freedom Friday. Good morning. Yes, it is a Friday morning here on the Rod Eccles Show. It is September number 9 in the year of our Lord 2017. And as we do every Friday, we sort of take things on a slightly lighter note. Just about anything goes, and you can participate in open mic time at 603-835-3226. Yes, indeed, it is Let Freedom Ring Day as we slide on into the weekend. We got Donald Trump, who's really out there trying to fight to bring our freedom back. But you still have a lot of people out there who are, well, not a lot, just some people who are out there trying to take away our choice and our freedoms. It's amazing how people will, let me see if I can put it this way. You know how people like Facebook and they like other social media for various reasons. I got to tell you, I'm not a huge social media, I'm not addicted to social media like some people are. I mean, honestly, I don't need to check. There is this whole syndrome about people checking their social media accounts like once an hour or something like that, afraid they'll miss something. I basically only check no more than twice a day on Facebook. And that's I'm usually there to upload stuff because of the show. That's it. But LinkedIn, once or twice a week is when I check into LinkedIn. And I don't do this to do social. And on the weekends, if you follow me, you know that I'm pretty silent on the weekends. Very silent. Unless something major happens, I'm usually not on social media on the weekends at all. Saturday and Sunday, I'm social media free. Maybe sometimes I'll jump on Twitter on a Sunday evening, but I like Twitter. I like Twitter simply just to read some of the BS that people spew. Think about it. I mean, it is the most open forum for liberals on the web, even more so than Facebook. In 140 characters or less, liberals are free, feel free, think they're free to be total and complete idiots and to express that idiocy freely. I welcome it. It is the past month has been one of the most amazing eye-openers for me, reading all these Twitter tweets and following some of these on the trending hashtag side. I used to not pay attention to that, but I've noticed that they've had some, pretty interesting hashtags. From Antifa and BLM and all. You follow those hashtags and you start reading some of those. You click on those hashtags and you start reading some of those tweets. And I've been responding to a few of them. They're hilarious when you start engaging these people. Now, some of them are pretty nasty. I know that I've had one woman call me the N-word. She claims to be multiracial. Now, this is a woman that takes me to task for admitting that I'm part Cherokee as well as black. And when I responded that she was the only one responding about race, because according to her, when she sees my picture, all she sees is a black man. I'm like, really? Well, a lot of people think I'm Dominican or Puerto Rican. But anyway, then in our last tete-a-tete, she claims that she's black, Arabic, and I don't know, half a dozen other. And this, and she's taken me to task for admitting that I'm not just black. And all of a sudden, here it comes. I mean, I knew she was mixed race by looking at her picture, but all this time she's chastising me for admitting that I'm Cherokee and part French. Believe it or not, yes, I guess that's the arrogant side of me. And then all of a sudden, when I catch her at it and put her in a corner, now all of a sudden she's going to bring out all her ethnic background parts. And these people are just hilarious. She's not the only one. And sometimes it's just, I'm finding it a lot of fun to engage these liberals on Twitter in 140 characters or less because they're hilarious. I know exactly how to tweak them and get them to say exactly what I want them to say. And usually, 99% of the time, when I'm on that track, they do exactly as I expect them to do. Because they're so predictable. And they're so stupid. I just put it out there. I'm starting to call them stupid. There is ignorance, meaning, you haven't been educated in a particular area. I'm ignorant in areas. I mean, it just means you haven't been educated in those particular areas. You're ignorant in certain, I am not an astrophysicist. I am ignorant in astrophysistry, if you want to call it that way. Make up a new word. But when I am not is stupid. Stupid is just not even having the ability or wanting the ability to use your brain in order to analyze facts. And these people are just stupid. You give them facts, easily looked up and backed up facts. I'm not talking about obscure facts. I'm talking about easily looked up facts. They want nothing to do with them. That's not ignorance. Ignorance, you don't know something and you're willing to go and learn about it. Stupidity is just plain, you just want to be dumb. And you give these people the facts and they don't want any part of it. Now that's just plain stupidity. And that's what I find hilarious. Well, it's not so hilarious when you think about these people are old enough to vote. I mean, when it comes to DACA, for instance, you've actually got people who think these 8 or 900,000 children that are now adults that came here under Obama, who actually think that most of the DACA people came here with their parents. They also believe that most of them had to register in order to be DACA. And they also believe, now this is what I'm getting from Twitter, there are American leftists who say that, I'm just going to say this is what they believe because this is what they spout, who also believe that these DACA people, the only family that they have is their parents and maybe their siblings. No other relative. They don't know any other relative if they do have them. They're relative-less. In their home, they have no aunts, uncles, cousins, grandparents, what have you, back in their home country. They don't know them. And they also believe that most of the DACA people, because they came here at between the age of 5 and 10, they don't know their home language. This is what these people believe. In other words, if they speak Spanish, if that's their first language and they were 5 to 10 years old when they came here, and even their parents who came with them still speak Spanish, they don't know Spanish. That's what these people believe. That's not ignorance. That's stupidity. Now, right now, I'm having fun with this. I can see myself getting bored with them really fast and really soon. But right now, I'm having fun. So right now, Twitter is my favorite go-to social media site, simply because of these wonderful hashtags. I mean, it's the same thing with the protesters and Antifa and all that. I mean, these people are just stupid. But the scary thing is that they're not just teenagers. They're not 18 or 19 years old. We're talking leading edge millennials, 30 to 35. And they don't even realize how dumb that they are sometimes. They don't even realize how hypocritical they are. They'll chastise somebody in a heartbeat and report them for calling somebody an N-word, and then they'll turn around and use the N-word themselves. Well, I was using it in context. What kind of I've actually been told that. I was using it in historical context. What kind of historical context are you using the N-word? That's a new one. So you get to use it in historical context when you're calling somebody a name. But when they repeat it or throw it back at you, you're going to report them? It's funny. I don't particularly. I just think it's funny. By the way, I want to thank Agent 0010 because he turned me on to something. And folks, I am in love with this now. DuckDuckGo. Now, I hadn't heard. I think I've heard of it before. I didn't really pay attention to what it was until he mentioned it on the show earlier this week during his intel report. DuckDuckGo. I did a side-by-side comparison as you do that online between Google, Yahoo, Bing, and DuckDuckGo. I'm in love with DuckDuckGo. It is opened up a whole new search world. If you're using Google right now to do your search, I'm telling you, stop. You're not even scratching the surface. Especially if you're looking for stuff that has a conservative bent or a conservative ideal or anything right of center. You are not even scratching the surface on Google. I'm telling you, stop using Google search. Get yourself DuckDuckGo. And this is, I can't, DuckDuckGo.com. That's how you get it. It's not hard. They don't track you. It's blazing fast. And the search you're gonna be overwhelmed when you first do a couple of searches. You're gonna be overwhelmed with what you get, the search results you get back. You really are. My first couple of searches, I was a little bit overwhelmed. It's unbelievable. So I'm telling you, don't use anything else, especially Google search. Drop it like a bad habit, man. Drop it like a lead anchor in a saltless sea. Get rid of it. Now, there might be some others out there, too, besides DuckDuckGo, but this is, I was turned on to this one. I have basically removed all the other possible search engines on my browsers now. They only have DuckDuckGo. So even when I do, instead of just going to DuckDuckGo and I search a term in the address bar, it's utilizing DuckDuckGo. It's an amazing thing. I'm so glad that Agent 0010 shared that because it is amazing. Can I say that again? Isn't that how they say it? It's amazing. Speaking of amazing, I think that is a highly used gay term. And there is a story here about gay people. What is this? It's new AI. Yeah, you're not going to believe this artificial intelligence stuff. I got the story here. We'll get into that as soon as I get back.
You're listening to me, your lovable host, Rod, here on the Rod Eccles Show.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
And now a message from our sponsor. Ladies, tired of drying your hair with the same old vacuum cleaner? Try Avon Shea brand new Beauty Locks portable hair dryer. It's smaller, it's faster, it's guaranteed to give you the hair you've always wanted in half the time. Beauty Locks is delicate and dainty, just like you. The dryer weighs only a pound and easily fits in your hand. Now that's beauty and convenience. With a speedy motor that will dry your hair in as little as 25 minutes, you can get gorgeous hair without falling behind schedule. Don't worry about the little ones or that pie in the oven. Thanks to an extra long extension cord, you can move around well, primping your locks. Forget those long trips to the salon and no more waiting for hours under monster machines. Avon Shea gives you an easy and speedy hairdo that will blow your man away. Get it now at your nearest Macy's.
You're listening to The Rod Eccles Show. Let truth be told.
Six 603-835-3226. That is the call-in hotline number. Should you wish to utilize it at any time during this program. And I have to reiterate that because it happened again yesterday. Now, I always say that the show is on 9 a.m. to noon Eastern time when I am advertising or promoting the program. I had some Yahoo trying to call the program yesterday at near almost 3 o'clock. It was about 2:30 p.m. And you know what you know what his response was? Well, he called when the show's live. And he's like, well, you said the show was was live 9 a.m. to noon. It's not even noon yet. Like, where are you, Alaska? California. Dude, that's not Eastern time. That's Pacific time. Of course, if he's calling from California, he's a liberal. You know he's a liberal. it's funny sometimes. Again, can you say stupid? That's not ignorant. That's just stupidity. Because everybody knows what Eastern time. If you live in California, you know you're not in the Eastern time zone. Do we really have to educate people on time zones now? I mean, seriously, do we really have to? Yeah, mind blowing. This program has enlightened me to the behaviors and beliefs and thinking abilities of people in this country like never before. Like, oh my God, like there are so many stupid people. And stupid people are lending credence to people scientists and others, programmers, trying to come up with artificial intelligence because so many humans seem to be devoid of natural intelligence. As opposed to, we should change this. It's not artificial intelligence. We should call it GMO intelligence. Well, we're going to have a lot of people that are going to be, railing against artificial intelligence. Now, there are some good reasons to be wary of it. I'm not sure you want to make machines think that they're sentient beings that are really alive. That really can pose a problem and a threat to other living beings. Because if they can program themselves, I mean, we've already seen some artificial intelligence where two computers created their own language. Now that's scary stuff because there's no way in hell a human being is going to break that. So you got some very learned people can be stupid, and you have some people who are praising this kind of stuff. Oh, this is great, man. They can talk to each other and we don't understand them. That's why we invented, code breaking machines so we could figure out what enemy and other people are saying, right? And now you're going to praise something that probably creates something that human beings won't be able to crack? Yeah, that's not a good thing. But they're using AI in a number of different areas to basically take away your privacy, or as they say in Britain, your privacy. Now, is that a good thing? Well, it's good if we put it out there because, if we utilize it in train stations and bus stations and airports and everything, we'll be able to find people who are bad people. That's not what they're going to use it for. They're going to be... Well, here's a story, and this is from The Guardian, about AI. New AI can guess whether you're gay or straight from a photograph. Evidently, this algorithm that they've developed has deduced the sexuality of people on a dating site with up to a 91% accuracy rating. Now, okay, let's just say it's true that they are 90% accurate. What about the 10% of the time that it's wrong? So now you're going to have people that are going to apply this new AI to people's pictures on, let's say, Match.com. And they're going to falsely assume that somebody is gay because of their picture. Can you imagine the fallout from that? And let's say you're struggling with your sexuality or you're in the closet. Are you going to tell me that it's okay for an artificial intelligence program to out you? How about people who thought that they were gay and then go to one of these camps or churches and they get turned straight? Well, as they say, they get turned straight. And their pictures say that they're still gay. What exactly is that anyway? Is how accurate they say this stuff is accurate, but how accurate is it in reality? And if it's not 100% accurate, what about the fallout from when it gets something wrong? And this, now, folks, you got to understand something. It goes deeper than just whether or not it's picking out somebody through a picture if they're gay or straight. Is it going to be able to pick out if they're transgendered or if they're bisexual or questioning or queer or any of the other 68 combinations that could be out there for sexuality, I guess?
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals. Because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Think fast. In the short time it takes to listen to this message, a small flame can turn into a big fire. Several minutes more, and thick, poisonous smoke may have filled your lungs and reduced your ability to respond. Give it 5, and your entire home may be filled with flames.
Keep breathing. We've got you.
Don't let your world go up in smoke. Have working smoke alarms and practice an escape plan for you and your loved ones. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov, because fire is everyone's fight.
Have you mixed your pain meds, your sleep meds, your allergy meds? Call the Poison Helpline. Has your child eaten a tube of toothpaste, a chip of paint, a wild mushroom? Call the Poison Helpline. Have you been bitten by a spider, a snake, an insect? Call the Poison Helpline. Poisonings can happen at the home, on the job, or in the great outdoors. Call the Poison Helpline first for fast, free advice from medical professionals. Call 1-800-222-1222 anytime, anywhere. 1-800-222-1222. Save the number, save a life. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Hi, I'm Hillary Duff. As a mom, I'm proud to support the March of Dimes in helping more women have full-term pregnancies and healthy babies. That's why I walk in March for Babies. The money we raise funds research and local programs that help babies overcome the challenges of premature birth and birth defects. Sign up today at marchforbabies.org. Together, we can help make healthier babies possible for thousands of families.
It's pretty amazing when you consider that 7 years ago, we didn't have the treatments we have now. We cure 80% of children with cancer. Go back 50 years, we were curing 20 to 30%. This is the miracle story of modern medicine. We understand what makes this cancer tick. And of course, without donors from around the world, this just couldn't happen. There's one thing we're focused on, and that's beating this thing.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
America's wounded warriors are coming home. After serving on foreign shores, these brave men and women are returning to their families and communities. Many have wounds you can see, and many have wounds you can't see, like post-traumatic stress disorder. Now that these warriors are back home, they are ready to enter the civilian workforce. To help, Wounded Warrior Project has developed the Warriors to Work program, a career counseling service that helps warriors translate their military experience to the civilian workplace. These extraordinary men and women bring proven world-class job skills and a unique perspective on teamwork to the job. And to ensure the right warrior finds the right job, Wounded Warrior Project works with employers to find just the right match. When you hire a wounded warrior, you hire an intelligent, talented, and committed new employee. Contact Wounded Warrior Project at findwwp.org. Welcome home the brave.
You know, there are a number of reasons why I bring you stories like this that the other big talking heads don't bring you, because I want you to really think about the overall effect and ramifications of stuff like this. Now, some people will look at this and think it's just benign, it's meaningless. Now, let me get back to this for a second. Now, I have been very open and honest about me working back in the first decade of this century, the 2010s or so, of being a bouncer in a nightclub, in a couple of nightclubs. Now, one of the nightclubs had a gay night, and there was one nightclub that was a gay club. And I've seen a lot of people, men and women, come through the doors of those clubs. And there have been times when I have been surprised about a person coming through that is gay. And there have been people that have come to the door that I've been surprised that were straight. This whole notion, do you know that there are a lot of gay men, especially millennial men, who the older generations would say sound gay, but they're not. And there are a lot of gay men and women who are very good at looking and acting straight, but they're gay. And I know some people are saying, Rod, you're not very big to be a bouncer. Let me tell you something about being a bouncer in a nightclub. It's not about your size. It really isn't. You can be very intimidating simply by your posture and your facial expressions to people, especially when they've had a few drinks in them and you're totally sober. It's not that difficult. Hell, you can look. There was one guy we had, and he was a straight guy in a straight club, a bouncer. He weighed maybe $140. He was like 6 feet tall. He was tall and skinny, and he was a bouncer. It's not about your size. Well, I mean, the guy was also a black belt in martial arts, but so he could definitely handle himself. But the point is that the way he presented himself, even though he was a tall, skinny thing that looked like you could, blow him over by just blowing on him, he was intimidating. And that's what a bouncer needs to be. When the time comes, they need to be intimidating. That's how it works. I mean, frankly, that's how it works. But I have seen a lot of these people, and I'm just wondering, would this AI be that 10%? What exactly is it that makes a person look gay or straight? Now, I'm telling you, I have in my group of friends, there's this one guy who is a metrosexual. He happens to like the style and look that's, we often tease him about, well, you look gay, dude. But he's not. So how is this going to pick that out? A lot of this stuff is learned behavior. The way you style your hair. You realize we got a lot of straight men now that are out there. I mean, they're marketing makeup directly to men. We have a lot of men out there who are now wearing makeup on a regular basis. Now, can you see it? You got a double vanity now in the bedroom. One for the wife and one for the husband. Now, can they do this by going back in time? How about when all of this stuff was very natural? I mean, it's just look at the Queen Victoria era in Britain and France. Now, today we would say that all those guys were gay, wouldn't we? Because they wore makeup on a regular basis. Society changes of what norms are. Will this AI be able to pick that up? Now, the reason why I bring this up, folks, is there are bigger ramifications than trying to out somebody on a social dating platform. Folks, they're talking about using this on a regular basis. This is facial recognition technology that they're talking about. And so now, anybody remember Minority Report, the Tom Cruise movie? It would have been better if he wasn't the star. It wasn't a half-bad flick, actually. But it's amazing how that story, how that movie, how we're starting to make that not science fiction, but science fact. Now, how many people are going to get sucked into this thing, being falsely accused of stuff? What are the constitutional ramifications of search and seizure of it? There are a number of constitutional ramifications with this. So you're out in public, some sort of AI facial recognition program wrongfully depicts you and identifies you as, say, a terrorist. What happens to you? Now, all of a sudden, this AI thing, being able to picture somebody, take a picture of somebody and look at them and tell them if they're gay or straight, now it becomes a real social and freedom problem. See, we can look at some of this new technology that we're developing, and we can think be lighthearted about it. And there can even be some funny aspects to it. We can laugh about, yeah, they're going to tell us somebody's gay or straight. Wouldn't it be funny if they got it wrong? Well, let's take the real ramification of this and what their real goal is. Now, understand they're issuing these stories and these press releases and these interviews and all that kind of stuff to introduce us to this stuff, and they're making it fun, making it sound fun and lighthearted, and we become accepting of it. Oh, that's harmless. Somebody who gets misidentified as being gay, he can straighten that out. That's or she can straighten that out. It's just harmless. It's only a dating site. That's how it starts. I mean, this is serious stuff, people. This is the old proverbial put the frog in the pot type of thing. You put the frog in a boiling pot of water, and if it can, it's going to jump out immediately. But if you put the frog in a cool pot of water and you turn up the heat, you'll be able to cook it and boil it alive because it'll fall asleep and get very comfortable. When I see this stuff, this is why I bring it to you. Sure, I can make fun of it just like anybody else at the beginning, but the real ramifications in the end are serious as a heart attack stuff here. And it quickly becomes not funny. Because technology is moving at a breakneck speed and it's only increasing. And we have not gotten to the point yet in a society, as a society, in our governments, and even in our personal lives, on dealing with the real social and ethical ramifications of this stuff. And we're being told at first, this is just benign. It's not evil. It's just benign stuff. It can be fun stuff, and we're becoming very accepting of it. And then the real reason behind the development of this stuff hits us like a ton of bricks, and we're not prepared. And then you get a bunch of people, both on the left and the right, who flip out and start, mostly on the left, they start this protesting or they sue everybody. And then you get judges that go against the opposite direction of logicalness. I mean, just look what we've got. I brought you the story yesterday. Look what we got with President Trump. We've got 15 governors from 15 states who are suing the president because the president rescinded an unconstitutional executive order from a previous president. We have judges who are telling the President of the United States that he does not have the authority or the right to ban certain people from entering this country when the Constitution makes it pretty damn clear that the President and Congress have that power. So this stuff is not funny. It's real, and it's dangerous. I know some people are saying, well, Rod, you're just scared of technology. No, I'm not. Not in a bad way. I have a healthy fear of this stuff. Because it ends up being used for no good. All technology can be good. It can be used for good, but there's also the dark side of it, and you have to understand why people are developing certain things. They don't have the fun side in mind. That's how they'll introduce it to you so you accept it without question. Me, on the other hand, I question almost everything. It's a healthy sort of fear. I'm not paralyzed by it, but it makes me question, and that's exactly what we need when we start having government people trying to make rules and regulations and laws about this stuff. We need to have people who have a healthy fear of this kind of stuff and say, well, we've got to put limits on it, or else it's going to overrun us. That's the facts. That's the truth. Trust me, I love technology. I love, give me a chance to play with technology, new technological stuff, and I'll go to town with it, have fun with it. But what is the real, and there are also things that are fairly old technology that's becoming new again. Has anybody ever heard of the term rod of God? And I'm not talking about my name either. Now, the rod of God, as it was given its colloquial name, was actually used in Vietnam. Now, it's a munitions type of thing, but it's a non-explosive bomb. Now, it's usually made out of, I believe, tungsten. And I've done some research on this, and it's fairly interesting. Now, they use it in Vietnam. What it is just it's a rod of metal, usually tungsten, and it relies on basically gravity, impact, velocity. And when they strike a target, usually the ground, they explode. And they use these in Vietnam as non-explosive munitions. Now understand, if you use this sort of thing, it's not going to, if it doesn't fully disintegrate and explode, it's not going to lie around for somebody to step on it 20 years from now. Like hand grenades and unexploded bombs in certain parts of the world, from World War II. Nothing like that. It's just a piece of metal. Well, this sort of rod of God doesn't have to do with Vietnam, but it takes that Vietnam technology and puts it in space. Now, we have treaties against putting explosive munitions in space. No nuclear weapons in space, no biological weapons in space, no weapons of mass destruction in outer space. So we have all these wonderful treaties that prevent all the superpowers and the emerging powers from putting up satellites that have, like, say, a nuclear weapon on it. The rod of God is not covered by that. Now think of having a satellite with these tungsten types of rods, not small either, large, being directed and released and fall upon the earth on an enemy target. These things, even though there's no explosives in them, can hit with the impact of a small tactical nuclear weapon. Can you? I mean, we're talking the power, and they're talking about the power of 10 tons of TNT. Now, that's a lot of firepower without any explosives. Technology. Now, sure, it was... You can't detect this thing. There's no launch. You can't detect a launch. Because it's coming down at you nearly vertical, it's almost impossible to stop. It's moving at a ridiculous speed, and they're predicting they can get these things to go between Mach 7 and Mach 10. We don't have anything that could hit that. But evidently, somehow, something got released that the Pentagon is working on this. It got leaked, not released. Technology. Now, this is something that's only meant for war, but it's like having a ray gun in outer space. Remember, what was it? Another movie. Something science. Val Kilmer was in it. They filled the house with popcorn and pointed the laser at the house, and the popcorn blew up the house. See, we developed this stuff on a lower level. Say, it's fine, it's okay. And then it gets, the real goal of it gets known. But by then, we've already accepted it. We've already accepted it. And then we're going to have to scramble to rein in that technology. Now that this has been, the Rod of God program at the Pentagon has been released, it's going to become serious enough where people and countries are going to scramble that knew nothing about it, including Russia. And they're going to be ticked that we have a weapon that they can't defend against. Wars have been started for less.
Hello, America. It's me, your history. I remember a time when we thumbed our nose in a king's face, sent him packing. And when fascists and emperors talked a little bit too loud, we showed up, tore their cities to the ground, and then rebuilt them just to prove we could. We put men on the moon, we won a Cold War, and we elected fearless leaders who led fearless people. What the hell happened to you, America? Back in my day, we didn't elect a big-eared community organizer. We punched him in the kidney. Maybe it's time you came home, America. Home where you belong.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
This is Free America broadcasting on the Rod Eccles Show with a message to all patriots trapped behind the lines in California, New York, Boston, and Chicago. Don't give up, true lovers of America. Even as we speak, moves are being made to drive the invaders back to the land from which they came. Defeat the would-be dictators and lift the chains of tyranny from around your neck. Stay strong. Stay brave. You're not forgotten, and you're not alone. Until next time, patriots, this is Free America signing out.
Call Rod now, 603-835-3226. Lines are open.
Now, you might think that this whole AI thing is not really, the gay picture thing is not all that serious. But here's the rest of it here. The study is from Stanford University, and it found a computer algorithm. Now, if you read deep into this, you realize that it's not a 91% accuracy rating. The computer algorithm could correctly distinguish between gay and straight men only 81% of the time, and only 74% of the time for women. Guess it's harder to detect if a woman is a lesbian or not, huh? And it's raised the questions about the biological origins of sexual orientation. In other words, you're born gay or not. We've heard that, right? But the ethical questions of this run deeper than that. It has the potential for, this kind of software has the potential to violate a person's privacy and be abused for pro or anti-LGBT purposes. Think about that for a second. I mean, how many times have you heard the so-called gay communities wanting to out a famous person? Person doesn't want his personal life known. But they feel compelled to come out or respond one way or another before they're outed. Now, the machine intelligence tested in the research, which was published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology and first reported in The Economist magazine, was based on a sample of more than 35,000 facial images that men and women publicly posted on U.S. dating websites. It uses something called extracted features from the images using deep neural networks, meaning a sophisticated mathematical system that learns to analyze visuals based on a large data set. In other words, human entry of data, which then gives it this ridiculously low accuracy rate of 81% for men and 74% of women. So that 91% accuracy rating that the title said is a lie. Nearly 20% of men are going to be misdiagnosed, and 25% of women are going to be misdiagnosed. And yet they're probably going to be forced to have to answer to this stuff from the LGBT community. And can you imagine? Privacy's out the window. This is not good stuff. But you're going to have people out there that are going to decide this kind of thing is needed on the pub. Hey, if you're going to be able to do that, why not be able to more accurately pick out who is going to be a terrorist or not and use that to screen their entry into various countries? Oh, we can't do that, can we?
Have you ever thought to yourself, I'm a leftist elite Hollywood a-hole? If so, good news. The Rod Eccles Hollywood Community College is now open, featuring such courses as unemployment is not paid vacation. No, Americans don't want to spend $19 for an order of French fries, and the ever popular shut the hell up. Why, just listen to this big-time celebrity endorsement.
I'm not Rosie O'Donnell, and I think this school's offensive,
sexist, and racist. And I think you're a giant a-hole who needs to shut the hell up. Hey, we teach a course in that. The Rod Eccles Hollywood Community College, where being an a-hole is not a guarantee you'll be an A student.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month, and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please, call or go online right now.
Think fast. In the short time it takes to listen to this message, a small flame can turn into a big fire. Several minutes more, and thick, poisonous smoke may have filled your lungs and reduced your ability to respond. Give it 5, and your entire home may be filled with flames.
Keep breathing. We've got you.
Don't let your world go up in smoke. Have working smoke alarms and always stay in the kitchen when cooking at high temperatures. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov, because fire is everyone's fight.
And now, a message from the American Migraine Foundation.
It's an absolute nightmare. I was terrified. It was like your head's going to explode.
Migraine is a disabling disease.
Just all of a sudden couldn't see.
Migraine has ruined my life.
Absolutely terrifying.
There's pain that does not stop.
It's a throbbing, pulsing, banging, hammering feeling in your head.
36 million Americans suffer.
I started getting migraines around 5 years old.
Just takes over everything.
I feel trapped by migraine.
It hurts like my head's gonna fall off.
And the whole world around you stops.
My world has gotten small. You feel like the world's closing in on you. There's nothing you can do.
I had spent a year housebound.
It's like you're trapped in your head. There's no escaping it. You can't leave your body.
Don't suffer alone. Make your move against migraine. Visit AmericanMigraineFoundation.org to find help, learn more, and get connected.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
The human voice. It can be sweet as music, powerful as thunder,
And so, my fellow Americans,
cheerful as laughter. But for millions of people, it can also be a sign of COPD. This serious lung disease can make it so hard to breathe, you often can't catch a breath or finish a sentence, let alone carry a tune. And many who have COPD don't even know it. That's where your voice comes in. If you think you or a loved one have symptoms, Talk with a healthcare provider. Early diagnosis can mean better treatments and quality of life. Join us in raising our voices for the millions with COPD who can't. Learn more, breathe better at NIH.gov.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge. Welcome to hour number 2 on this Friday morning.
Welcome to Freedom Friday.
Yes, indeed, it is a Friday, the fastest 5-day week on Internet Talk Radio right here. We're already at Friday, September number 8 in the year of our Lord 2017. Fridays, we also like to take things a little bit lighter, at least we try to, as we slide on into the weekend and celebrate our increasing freedoms, or at least celebrate the fact that we have somebody in the White House fighting to increase our freedoms. It's a good thing. And it's a sunny day here in northern New England. Although, with Hurricane Irma, that may change. The call-in number on this Open Mic Freedom Friday is 603-835-3226. You can utilize that if you so choose to talk about just about anything you want. It doesn't have to be what I'm discussing. It could be, you could bring up anything. By the way, I get this question. What? From both sides. What are you, gay friendly, Rod? Are you this friendly, that friendly? I'm not anything friendly. I'm human friendly. I mean, I can get along and be friends with just about anybody if we have something in common. Now, when it comes to, I'm going to be frank, being an Islamist, if you're a strict Islamist, we have nothing in common, so we're not going to be friends. But, you could be a Jew. I have Jewish friends. They don't believe in Christ being the Son of God, but I do. But we're still friends. We just don't get into discussions about religion. We don't have to. I don't care if you're gay, straight, queer, whatever. As long as you're not trying to convince me that I'm like you, we can be friends. Just people. People being people. That it doesn't matter the color of your skin. If we have something in common, we can be friends. I don't particularly care where on the planet you can. As a matter of fact, when you allow yourself to be people friendly, not gay friendly or straight friendly or Jew friendly or whatever you want to put in there, if you just allow yourself to be people friendly, you'll be fascinated by people. And you'll have a much better time. Your eyes will open up. You'll have a better understanding of the world around you and how other people think. You might even find a particular type of culture or subculture that absolutely fascinates you. Now, I've said it before, Asian culture fascinates me. Many aspects of it do. Well, Rod, you're black. You should be interested only in African, societies and stuff. Well, I don't have an interest in African culture as much as I do in, say, Asian culture. It doesn't mean I'm trying to deny who I am. I Native American culture. Love it. Other cultures I don't have such an interest in. Everybody's different. So when do we, it's one thing, the reason why we have racism at all different kinds of levels is because we have too many people, and let me be frank, it's not the majority of people. If you have 100 people who are racist, that's 100 too many. But we have too many people that only want to have people around them that are just like them. And to a certain degree, there's nothing wrong with that because we all congregate around like-minded people. That's how we formed countries and nations. But you need to be open to other things. The food alone should open people. I find it very interesting that, you get some really racist people like KKK or Skinhead or something, and these are white Anglo-Saxon Protestants as they're normally called, WASP, but they love Asian and Mexican foods. Well, seriously, just the food alone. Forget about the rest of the culture. Just the food alone is amazing stuff. Just saying. I love different kinds of foods, and I don't get into the exotic stuff, like monkey brains and snail guts and all that kind of, like some did now. I have my limits, but I do love tasting real ethnic foods. I have a soft spot for real Asian cuisine, real Mediterranean, real Greek cuisine, real French cuisine, and I happen to love all the Americanized versions of that stuff too. It's good stuff. But if you're going to be stuck in your own little world, you're not going to experience any of that. That's what's really sad. When you limit yourself like that, that's what's really sad. Having amazing conversations with people who are very different from you and learning about each other. Fascinating. This is how, I've talked to people from Africa, and we've gotten on conversations about, some of them have asked me about this Kwanzaa crap. I try to explain it to them what it is, and to this day, every single one of them have looked at me like I had two heads. Because none of them, they come from, I know a black person from South Africa, black person from Nigeria, and Kenya. I'm not talking about Barack Obama. And they all look at me like I got two heads. Like, we don't have anything like that. Well, that's what we here in the United States think, and we think this because why? Because we don't connect with real people from other parts of the planet. We just like to make stuff up and like to fantasize about how the rest of the world is. The real interesting thing about these so-called liberals that think that they're so open-minded is that they are some of the most closed-minded, closed-off people that there are. They're worse than the outed racists that they say they're fighting. They really are. So they don't know anything about the rest of the world or the people in it. And so they make stuff up and they fantasize. And then they teach their youngins who grow up to think this is natural, this is real, this is authentic. And then you start talking to people who this is supposed to emulate, these sort of holidays and customs are supposed to emulate, and they look at you like, no, we don't do that. We've never done that. Or anything like it. And it's amazing to hear some people respond like, what are you talking about? Of course you do. No, we don't. And that was a big thing with this Kwanzaa crap. You start talking to people from Africa and explaining what Kwanzaa is here, and they look at, well, that's not, no, we don't know anything about that, but okay, we can get into it if you want. I'm like, well, we're pushing it off as being some sort of authentic reconnection with our African roots, and they laugh. They've all laughed. What I find it interesting is that you'll actually speak to a liberal about this, and they'll claim that the person who is actually from the country that they're trying to emulate is wrong, because they have this fantasized belief of what the world is. We need to start getting rid of this fantasy of what the world is like and actually looking at it for what it really is. We have this fantasy that evil doesn't exist. Everything is gray. There's no black and white. The reality is in the world that there is evil, and it is black and white. That's the reality of the... But you don't understand or realize that when you don't open yourself up to the reality of it. When you remain in your little fantasy world of what you think the world should be like. This is not Star Trek, for crying out loud, and people need to understand that. And as long as there's going to be human beings and different customs, we are not going to ever be the idealized world, planet of Star Trek. Sure, we can fantasize about it, make TV shows and movies about it, but we're never going to reach it. That's not negativity, that's reality. You have too many cultures that have come up that are opposed to one another. That's not going to change. Well, we've got to change everybody's beliefs. You can't do that. Especially if you don't understand them to begin with. Which liberals in this country, liberals in the Western world, whether it be Europe or here in this hemisphere, they don't understand the rest of the world because they don't want to understand the rest of the world because they want to live in a fantasy world. That's a huge, huge problem. Hurricane coverage. I know everybody's talking about Hurricane Irma. Hurricane Irma has been downgraded to Category 4 and is approximately some 450, 475 miles out from Miami. And, you know, they have thoroughly scared the public about this hurricane. Oh, it can hit every major city in Florida. Now, I'm not saying, looking at the track of this, it is possible that the storm is going to touch the whole entirety of Florida, but is the eye of the hurricane, the eye of the storm, is it going to pass over every major city? Highly doubtful. But will the whole of Florida, just about the whole of Florida, feel the effects of Hurricane Irma? Yes. From the tracking so far, it looks like that's a yes. But to scare people in such a way, I mean, I'm watching this stuff, the news reports about this. I'm thinking, you guys are just, you think you're doing a service to people by scaring the hell out of them when you're actually doing a disservice. I mean, there's no gas in Florida, really. I mean, gas trucks are being brought in with police escorts. Can you believe that? Gas tankers are being brought in with police escorts. You have grocery stores that have deliveries of bottled water. They have to have police escorts and police protection at the grocery stores for water. Turn on your damn tap. Hey, there's water. No, we have lost all the good old-fashioned rules for preparing for a potential natural disaster, have we not? What are some of the old things that they told you to do? Hey, fill up your bathtub with water. Clean out the tub, disinfect it, use some bleach, and fill up your bathtub. Take jugs, any kind of jugs or thermos that you have, turn on the tap, fill it with water. Take some plastic baggies, fill it, halfway up, 3/4 up with water, and put it in the freezer. What if the power goes out? Well, you're going to be able to keep things cold for a longer period of time. Not to mention, as the ice melts, you have what? Water. There's no need to have a run in the grocery stores and be threatening to other people just to get some bottled water. It's ridiculous. I mean, come on. So, again, it's just plain stupidity. Because if people really wanted to learn, if they really thought that they were ignorant about natural disaster preparedness, they'd learn about it. But instead, they'd rather sit at home, listen to some joker on TV scare the hell out of them, and then make a run on the grocery store. And how many times have people been told, never let your tank get below 1/4 of a tank? And these fools are running around, with their tanks nearly on E, and then they try to pull into a gas station, and there's no gas. It's just plain stupidity. As much as the governors of the states that are in the current path of this hurricane have tried to prepare their states and their citizens for this, and as much as they're warning them and telling them, if you don't get out during the storm, we're not going to be able to come save you. And they're using the wrong language. I mean, Governor Scott has been using the term protect you. Government can't protect you in stuff like this. It cannot. But you know what? Unfortunately, that's the language that these people understand. Somebody else has got to protect me. I can't protect myself. And that's how we end up with all these stupid laws and stupid rules and stupid edicts and demands from government, because people are too stupid to protect and take care of themselves.
You're listening to the Rod Eccles Show, the coolest, most politically incorrect, conservative black man on the planet.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
You know, a couple of weeks ago, a long-haired young person came into our bank and said to me, I bet you won't lend me money to buy an electric guitar. Well, he was making $100 a week, and he was over 18, and I said, I bet you I will lend you money to buy an electric guitar. And I did. So what happens? The punk gets busted for possession of dangerous drugs, and we're out $350. There's one thing about kids nowadays. You don't have to give them credit.
Universal Bank. We trust you. About as far as we can throw you.
(603-835-3226). Yes, that is a number that you can still utilize this morning. And every morning that we are live, I emphasize live. You can't get on the air with me if I'm not live. I mean, there are some people that don't understand that, I guess. Well, can't help them with that. Now, the hurricane issue is that one of the things is that now that it's been downgraded to Category 4, it's still a very dangerous storm. And it's quite interesting. I know you have some people saying this. Quite interesting that we've had, some 12 years of no major hurricane making landfall on the continental U.S. And we look at it and think that that's an amazing thing. Although a bunch of, the leftists out there, the climate change people, they've always been beside themselves. Have you ever really watched news personnel when they report this stuff? I mean, you can always tell those who have this sort of inner sickness about them. Was it Don Henley that had a song back in the 80s? The lyrics, you can watch the bubble-headed bleach blonde tell you about the plane crash with a gleam in her eye. Dirty Laundry is the name of the song. I mean, listen to the lyrics of that. He's dead on. This is what we have today in our news media. Because most of them are leftist, elitist. And when it looks like something is going to prove their side, they get all excited and animated about it. I mean, they have to contain themselves. You can see it on TV. And I know some people are saying that's not true. Really? How about the election results night in 2016 when every network realized that Donald Trump won the election? Their countenance visibly changed on the air. I mean, some of them were so sad that they were actually crying on TV. I mean, it's just ridiculous. But when we have something like this, like this disaster, potential disaster, that is going to prove their case for man-made climate change, they are so bubbly about it. They're quick to report an upgrade. Oh yeah, Irma has gone from 3 to 4. Irma's gone from 4 to 5, the most powerful, biggest storm ever. I haven't heard much about them reporting that Hurricane Irma has been downgraded to 4 from 5. Winds are subsiding. Now I wonder why that is. Well, because it takes away from the drama of them telling you this is the biggest, most powerful storm ever to hit the United States. And the thing that they report on and a lot of the destruction that's happened so far in the Caribbean islands that it's hit, oh yeah, Donald Trump's vacation house down there has been destroyed. And they're asking the question, well, how is Donald Trump going to repair it? Is he going to be the first to repair his home? Who cares? But evidently they do. I mean, it's sick. It's a sickness, actually. Liberalism is a sickness. You can quote me on that. I am thoroughly convinced. I'm not the one that coined that, by the way. It is a mental disorder. I'm not going to take credit. I wish I could take credit for saying it, but I'm not the one. I don't know who actually coined it or said it, but I believe it just by watching these people and listening to them. Liberalism is a full-blown mental disorder. Now, I wonder if they can get an AI algorithm to predict, who's a liberal and who's not by their picture. Probably can.
Dad, we need to talk.
Can we just enjoy the drive?
If you're not going to listen to me, who will we listen to?
Jeffrey. Marcia Gay Harden, what?
Eyes on the road, Dad.
What are you doing? What are you doing in my back seat? How did you get in here?
You're getting older.
Not that old.
Your brain's changing. It's natural.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Honey, I've got experience with this. Jeffrey, brain health is all about making the most of your brain as you age and helping to reduce some of the risks to your brain.
Really? Now that's interesting.
So, you'll talk to her about this, but not me. Marcia Gay Harden? Where did she go?
Learn what you can do to help keep your brain healthy at brainhealth.gov. She didn't say goodbye? I mean, I would have. Visit brainhealth.gov.
Every day, 70,000 puppies or kittens are born in the U.S. Cute, right? What's not cute is that half of all litters are accidents, which leads to millions killed in shelters each year. Turns out, those little cuties can get pregnant sooner than you think. But here's the good news. You can stop the accident before it happens. When you bring home a pet, get them fixed at 4 months old. Prevent more. Fix at month 4. Visit fixat4.com for more information. Brought to you by Best Friends Animal Society.
There's a threat targeting America. One that's growing fast, but may still be hard to see. Lyme disease. Spread by tiny ticks, often smaller than the head of a pin. This dangerous disease is now more widespread than West Nile, tuberculosis, and HIV/AIDS combined. And if left untreated, it can lead to arthritis, facial paralysis, and even memory and concentration problems, often called brain fog. As the threat of Lyme disease grows to more than 300,000 projected cases each year, it's time for us to target Lyme disease. That means checking for ticks when you've been outside, even in your own backyard. It means seeing a doctor if you experience the symptoms of Lyme disease, which can include joint pain, flu-like symptoms, fever, fatigue, or sometimes a bullseye-shaped rash. Set your sights on stopping Lyme. Learn how you can target Lyme disease at targetlyme.org.
Battles aren't won solely on the field. That's a common misconception. Battles are won within, over enemies of fear, enemies of doubt. In that place where promises are kept. Promises to oneself.
This is a physical training event.
Promises to one's community.
Healthy people move debris out of their house.
Promises to one's country. In the heart of every Marine, you'll find a promise. A promise forever kept. A promise of battles won.
We're here early before they wake up. We stay late, we stay informed, we invest in the latest technology.
We take the time to train the next generation of doctors and nurses. We work together to make sure we heal their bodies and their minds.
We do this not because it's our job, but because this is about our veterans' lives. This is our mission. More than 300,000 of us working as one, together with families and loved ones. No matter where they live in this country, we'll be there.
We all come together and stand together to serve our veterans. We
we stand strong, united. Stand with us in caring for our veterans.
Hi, this is Kelsey Grammer. When military service members head into battle, none are expected to face the enemy alone, but many return home and become isolated as they struggle with the visible and invisible wounds of war. It can be difficult knowing how to overcome that challenge and rekindle bonds similar to those formed in the military. Wounded Warrior Project supports these injured veterans through their recoveries by connecting them with fellow warriors and their communities. No one should fight this battle alone. Join us at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Call Rod now, 666-603-835-3226. I love coffee. I love coffee and cigars. I love coffee. I love cigars with coffee. I love cigars with a good... I've really gotten into... I still don't know anything. I'm a neophyte. I am ignorant of Scotch still. I am just learning about it. But a cigar with a Scotch? I used to think that cigar and wine was a great combination. And I've become very, pretty versed in wine. I'm a burgeoning wine snob. I am not a sommelier, at nowhere near it. I couldn't taste a wine, blind taste of wine, and tell you, the vintage and vineyard and the year and all that kind of. There are some people out there that can. I can't do that. I just know, what wines are good and what are not. I can blind taste test a wine and tell you that that's terrible. And I'm pretty accurate as whether or not it's a good, vineyard or not, if it tastes good or bad. I'm not going to mention any names. But there's been some changes in the wine industry. Some box wines are pretty damn good. It used to be the cheap stuff, but it's not the case anymore. But Scotch, I am still a neophyte when it comes to Scotch. There's a lot. Scotch is a lot like wine. There are all kinds of nuances to it. And I'm learning this. But a cigar with a good glass of, if you want to call it a glass, a shot of Scotch. And I usually like it on the rocks, although I'm very picky. I've come to the point where, depending on the Scotch and how strong it is, only 2 or 3 ice cubes. That's it. You don't want to overwater it. Now there has been a Scotch, and it was a Glenfiddich that I had that without ice in it. It was a chilled glass. That was also very good. But just the finer things in life can be good. Can they not? I mean, who's going to disagree with me on that? A good cigar and a good Scotch together is a wonderful evening for me. Now, I don't get drunk on this stuff, but because the other thing I don't. But there are alcohols I don't touch. No, I learned my lesson at an early age with some of them, like tequila. I don't drink anybody's tequila. I know that people love tequila, but that stuff to put it in a word, this stuff is evil. It will tear you up the next day if you have too much of it. Now, some people can drink it and have no after effects whatsoever. I'm not one of those people. So I don't touch Scotch. I do like vodka, but I think for hard liquor, my favorite alcohol, adult beverage of choice is quickly turning to Scotch whiskey. And I'm not. Look, we've got some good American stuff too. It doesn't have to be Scottish or Irish. The Jack Daniel's Devil's Cut is very good. They did something right there. Just like American wines, we have American scotches that can be put up against the world and beat them. We're able to do that. Isn't that amazing? I mean, here we don't have the long
century over century over century over centuries tradition. We don't have families that can trace their lineage back to, the Visigoths. I mean, there are, you go to Europe and you got families living in the same family house or farmstead or homestead that was originally built back in like 1100. We don't have that. So we don't have that long history and long tradition. But somehow we've been able to take all of that knowledge from all of that time and bring it together here and make things that used to only be thought of as, you can only get a great wine from France. And then the world was shocked when American wine started winning international competitions. Now, you can only get a great Scotch from Scotland or from Ireland. And the world was shocked again when we started producing scotches and various kinds of whiskeys that won world competitions. It's always amazing how the rest of the world gets shocked when Americans do something good. We've already proven ourselves time and time again in our short history. But everybody around the world still gets shocked when we beat them at something. I have no idea why that. Well, it's called arrogance. It's called, historical arrogance, because it has taken these other countries possibly centuries to get where they are. And we've only been on the block, for a few hundred years. That's it. We're babies compared to the rest of the world. And this is why these people get shocked every time we do something. Because they let their own self-aggrandized, delusional, historical belief make them think that they're so superior. You want to talk about fantasy world? Our American left aren't the only people living in a fantasy world. The rest of the world is too, but they're living in their own fantasy world. And as long as humankind is going to abide by their various fantasy worlds, there's no way in hell we're ever going to be Star Trek. I'm just telling people. There's no way in the world we're going to have a one world government that is actually fair to everyone. It's not going to be Star Trek. We have too many cultures and too many people living in their own fantasy world. And every time something happens that disrupts that fantasy, they're shocked. I think it's kind of funny, actually. Now, sometimes that shock actually leads to war. History has proven that, and that's not funny. But generally speaking, I think it's kind of funny when people get shocked for no reason at all. Here's something else that's shocking. And I asked this question, I think that the time has come that we change the way we do things financially. I don't know what that new system should be, but I do know that there needs to be a change. Equifax. Now, Equifax used to be called TRW, Trans World. Everybody remember what TRW was. But Equifax says a cyber attack that hit Equifax has exposed 143 million customers. Now understand, our societies run heavily on a person's name and their credit. Now, Equifax is a credit rating and gathering company, agency. And a cyber attack just took all that information. Your whole life is about your credit, your ability to get it. If you can't get it, you're relegated to the lower economic rungs of the ladder, of the economic ladder. But what happens if you have good credit? Somebody steals your name and all your credit information and turns it into crap. It's too easy to do. I mean, every time you turn around, you're hearing about all of these companies being hacked and all the data being stolen. You know, people's credit information, their birth dates, their social security numbers, all kinds of stuff that will affect them and how they live. And now we've got a major credit reporting agency that is now admitting they've been hacked. This is real serious stuff. I mean, you could say, well, you know, I don't shop at Target, so that breach at Target doesn't affect me. Okay, you're right. Or I don't shop at that store that got hacked, so I'm okay. Or I don't shop there. Or I've never given this store, whenever I shopped, I've only paid cash or something. Yeah, okay. But now we're talking about credit and a credit agency itself that has information on just about everybody was hacked. Think of a credit agency as being the Social Security Administration. Has info on just about everybody. Or the IRS. But it's a private company. Your information is in danger. This is now the time where we have to, and understand, believe it or not, these hackers use a lot of self-developed AI in order to help them hack. Artificial intelligence. There has to be some sort of change. We've got to change the way we do things now. And I don't see anybody moving to do that. Well, you know, we hear, well, we're taking steps to secure the data. How about just not securing the data, because you've already proven that you can't do that? How about we change it? So that the data that it doesn't become it's not so relevant anymore. You got to do something. Well, let me just take militaries. Militaries don't use the same stuff and try to make the old stuff better. They completely invent new stuff. A new way of doing something. I mean, we got to a point where, you know, we can't improve the arrow anymore, so maybe we need something a little bit more powerful. So they had to invent something new. But here we're trying to double down on old ways and old technology, and we're going to make it more secure. And every time they do that, that's like a challenge to the cyber attackers. And they get around it. And then we hear about another breach. And we're like, oh my God. So everybody's got to scramble to make sure to change their passwords and make sure that their social security number isn't being misused. And this is how we get these companies that rise like in order to protect your personal identity because of identity theft. Look, the only reason why we have such massive identity theft and identity fraud is because we refuse to change the system. All we try to do is take the old technology and make it more secure. That doesn't work. It hasn't been working. Yeah, I don't know what the solution is. I'm not a genius in that area. I have no idea. To be fair, I know it's. Well, Rod, you got to have a solution. No, I have no clue at this particular point of what a solution could be. I do know what doesn't work. What doesn't work is credit monitoring and identity monitoring and making current systems more secure, because it hasn't. We're doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. It hasn't worked. I know you're going to probably get some people that are fully disagree with me, and I just point to the evidence. You know, time after time after time, we've made our network more secure, and then it gets breached. And half the time, you don't even find out that now, this breach at Equifax has exposed Social Security and credit card numbers. And of course these companies, they say, well, it's clearly a disappointing event. We're doing everything we can to secure our customers' data. Well, the cow's already out of the barn. Why close the barn doors now? This is trying to keep all of this concealed and confined is like herding cats. It's not going to work. But intruders evidently have accessed the names and Social Security numbers and birth dates, addresses, driver's license numbers. 209,000 consumers were also accessed for additional credit card number information. And news is coming out that some Equifax executives dumped their stock before they released the information about the breach publicly. Now, they did so in a apparently non-illegal maneuver. Unethical? Absolutely. But there are legal ways that you can dump your stock without being tripped up for insider information. So in other words, when this originally happened, they didn't immediately tell people. They waited. Do you realize that happens every single time there's a breach? By the time you find out, the information is old. Old. They don't tell you this. They don't even bother telling you the same week that it happens. Think about that for a second. By the time you find out that a company that you do business with or has your information admits that they've had a breach, that information and that breach could have happened literally months ago. You still think we don't need to make a change?
I'm not Rod Eccles, and I approve this message.
A couple of weeks ago, a long-haired young person came into our bank and said, "I'll bet you're a Nazi." Well, I love America, support the Constitution, and believe in capitalism. So I told him I'm not a Nazi, and I'm not. So what happens? The punk breaks out 2 windows and pepper sprays an elderly woman in the face. You know, there's one thing about long-haired young people nowadays. They're real assholes. Long-haired young people, you suck.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 plus 2 equals perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
Warning. Listening to the Rod Eccles Show by the Idiot Left may cause outrage, fear, a need for safety pins and or spaces. If you experience any of these symptoms or are allergic to truth, tune in and learn something.
Amazon got duped. Yes, the giant river, as it's known, not the actual river in South America, but the product seller. Amazon got duped, but it didn't hurt Amazon. It hurt one of Amazon's sellers. Amazon was tricked by a fake law firm into removing a hot-selling product, costing the seller over $200,000 in sales. Small firm, too. And this is not the first time or the only time this has happened. Amazon has become very notorious of not vetting complaints enough and just shutting people down and making it nearly impossible for sellers to vindicate themselves. It's really, I mean, look, if you're selling on Amazon, I got to tell you, you better not be just using Amazon to sell your product or your service. You can make a lot of money using Amazon, but it's kind of like being on Facebook or Twitter. They shut you down, and there's very little of any recourse whatsoever of getting reactivated. They make it nearly impossible to do so because, unlike what our Constitution says, they believe that you're guilty of some sort of infringement before any evidence is really established of your guilt. And you've got to try to prove your innocence. Well, here's a case. An Amazon merchant said its hottest selling product was kicked off of Amazon because of a complaint made by a fake law firm. The seller put in an appeal last month but couldn't get it resolved until this past Tuesday after losing some $200,000 in sales. Yeah, the story is that shortly before Amazon's Prime Day in July, the owner of Brushes for Less store on Amazon's marketplace received a suspension notice for his best-selling product, a toothbrush head replacement. The email that landed in his inbox said that the product was being delisted from the site because of an intellectual property violation. In order to resolve the matter and to get the product reinstated, the owner would have to contact the law firm that filed the complaint. There was only one problem. The law firm did not and does not exist. And I have heard stories, Amazon stories from sellers that similar things have happened. There was even a particular case where a person was a creator of a particular product. He was basically the inventor. And Amazon shut him down because of a fake complaint. It took the man, he said, a year to prove that he was the inventor of the product. It was his. Took him a year. Because Amazon doesn't respond well to sellers at all when there's a problem. And it's very easy to run into a problem on Amazon because they don't vet anything that comes in that's negative. This is the biggest complaint about Amazon that sellers have. Especially now that now it is, in order for you to sell a lot of different products now, you have to have some sort of distributor agreement with the manufacturer. People just can't go to like say Marshall's and buy a particular name brand product for real cheap and throw it up on Amazon. They'll block you. You have to be a legit distributor now. So a lot of this is so if you're trying to make money online, I'm telling you, don't stick with just Amazon. You're going to get burned.
Today, there's a beer for everyone.
Hey, me and the guys are going out for beer. You want to come along? Nah, I got a lot of data to enter into the computer tonight.
Now, there's a brew for the future.
Want me to bring you something back? Thanks, but I got some right here.
Microsoft Brew.
You got a beer tap on your computer?
With a head so thick you can float a mouse on it.
Let me get this straight. You make your own beer with the computer? With the right software, you can do anything.
Microsoft Brew.
Here, I call this one Windows 95. I don't know, it leaves a bad taste in my mouth.
And if you got to get there quicker, try the new ISDN malt liquor.
When I found out I had atrial fibrillation, a serious but highly treatable heart condition, the first thing I thought of was who would take care of my wife and children if anything were to happen to me. My doctor recommended Prevactin. I had a lot of questions, so I did some research. It turns out Prevactin is the #1 recommended drug for Crohn's disease. I think my doctor's trying to kill me and steal my wife.
Doctors. They'll stop at nothing to get your wife.
And now, a message from the American Migraine Foundation.
It's an absolute nightmare. I was terrified. It was like your head's gonna explode.
Migraine is a disabling disease.
Just all of a sudden couldn't see. Migraine has ruined my life. Absolutely terrifying.
There's pain that does not stop.
It's a throbbing, pulsing, banging, hammering feeling in your head.
36 million Americans suffer.
I started getting migraines around 5 years old.
Just takes over everything.
I feel trapped by migraine.
It hurts like my head's gonna fall off.
And the whole world around you stops.
My world has gotten small.
You feel like the world's closing in on you. There's nothing you can do.
I had spent a year housebound. It's like you're trapped in your head. There's no escaping it. You can't leave your body.
Don't suffer alone. Make your move against migraine. Visit AmericanMigraineFoundation.org to find help, learn more, and get connected.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
The human voice. It can be sweet as music, powerful as thunder,
And so, my fellow Americans,
cheerful as laughter. But for millions of people, it can also be a sign of COPD. This serious lung disease can make it so hard to breathe, you often can't catch a breath or finish a sentence, let alone carry a tune. And many who have COPD don't even know it. That's where your voice comes in. If you think you or a loved one have symptoms, talk with a healthcare provider. Early diagnosis can mean better treatments and quality of life. Join us in raising our voices for the millions with COPD who can't. Learn more, breathe better at NIH.gov.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals. Because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
You want to know what time it is? It's time to bring the rain.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Yes, indeed. Hour number 3 here on this Friday morning.
Welcome to Freedom Friday.
Yes, it is Friday, September number 8, year of our Lord 2017. This is hour number 3, the fastest 3 hours on Internet Talk Radio, part of the fastest week in the Internet Talk Radio, which is this program. The call-in number for you to participate this morning, be you a liberty lover, an ecclesiastite, a liberal, or anybody else out there listening, is 603-835-3226. And that's 603-835-3226. We'll talk about just about anything as we take a little bit lighter this hour. I know we were a little bit heavy the first 2 hours in the program talking about some really serious stuff. We'll get into some lighter stuff before we finish out the morning. One of the things that is kind of funny I know some people are going to say, well, this is serious, Rod. This is really serious stuff. I think it's kind of funny considering the two countries involved. Yeah, Germany is seeing a jump in citizen applications. You're thinking, oh, yeah, big deal, Germany. It's from the U.S. Yeah. Evidently out of Berlin, Germany, or if you're here in New Hampshire, we don't say Berlin, we call it Berlin. Believe it or not, there is a small city in the northern part of the state. that is spelled Berlin, just like Berlin everywhere on the planet is spelled. And the story goes, I think I've mentioned this on the air before. The story goes like this. At the start of World War II, the citizens of Berlin, New Hampshire, didn't want to have their name associated with Berlin, Germany. Nazis, all that kind of thing. So they originally, I guess, so the story goes, the legend goes, that they were going to change the name to Freedom, New Hampshire, but there is already a town in New Hampshire called Freedom, New Hampshire, so they couldn't do that. So somebody got the bright idea, well, why? So they didn't want to confuse the residents and other people that already knew, because Berlin used to be a big paper and big wood pulp industry town. And they didn't want to confuse that by totally changing the name of the city. So they decided that they were just going to officially change the pronunciation. This is the story now. This is the legend. They officially changed the pronunciation of the name of the city. So that day, I guess, it went from Berlin, New Hampshire to Berlin, New Hampshire. No change in spelling, just an official change in pronunciation. And if you say Berlin, New Hampshire, you will be corrected rather forcefully. It is Berlin. Now, not to confuse Berlin, New Hampshire with Berlin, Germany, German consulates in the United States have seen a significant rise in requests for citizenship since November of 2016 when Donald Trump was elected president. Total citizenship applications, including those filed by U.S. citizens already living in Germany, are reported yearly, with data for this year not expected until next summer of 2018. However, the consulates have received citizenship requests filed overseas, including those filed by former Germans who were stripped of their citizenship during the Nazi era. And so you got a bunch of Americans who want to become Germans, I guess. Such applications climbed from 92 of October in 2016 to 124 in November of 2016 and 144 in December of 2016 and 159 in January of 2017. At least 100 people living in the United States have applied every month through June. Now, understand that Germany is probably going to approve these because massive numbers of Germans are packing up and leaving, and some of them are even rescinding their German citizenship. Why? Because of over-government regulation and taxation in Germany, as well as the over-influx of so-called refugees who are turning out to be nothing more than terrorists. So you got a bunch of stupid Americans. Now, some of them, okay, you know, their families were stripped of their German citizenship because of Nazism and everything after World War II, and they want to get it back. I get that. But again, you've got all of these wonderful Americans in this live in this fantasy world. Now, of course, you're going to get the leftists who say, well, the reason why they want to become Germans is because they're Nazis. No, that's not the case. At least according to this report, that doesn't seem to be the case, because Germany is very anti-Nazism. There's laws like you would not believe against Nazism in Germany. It'd be very difficult for Nazis for Nazism to give rise in Germany. Hell, I think we've got more Nazis, real Nazis here in the USA than they do in Germany, but believe it or not. And I'm not talking about Antifa either, or Antifa. Although the Antifa group, really, when you think about it, they're the ones that Nazism, they're the ones espousing it and practicing it. Even though they're accusing everybody else. Speaking of everybody, I got a story here. Where is that story from? The Southern Poverty Law Center. Yeah, another story about the Southern Poverty Law Center. Speaking of Nazism. Southern Poverty Law Center gets creative in order to label hate groups. Principled conservatives are now lumped together with Nazis or bigots. As yes. The Southern Poverty Law Center designated the Family Research Council back in 2010 as a hate group because of its orthodox position on homosexuality and its occasionally incendiary defense of that position. So now if you are, why isn't the Southern Poverty Law Center labeled CAIR? CAIR, Council on Arabic whatever relations. The Islamic Muslim group. Why haven't they named? And I haven't seen it. Has the Southern Poverty Law Center labeled ISIS as a hate group? Has the Southern Poverty Law Center labeled any Islamic group a hate group? Well, when it comes to homosexuality, there's probably no other group or religion more incendiary, more hateful towards homosexuality than Islam. I mean, Islam. Let's face it, Islam still. Remember when Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, the former president of Iran, was invited to speak at a New York City college, and he said, "We don't have, like you here in the United States, we don't have a problem with homosexuals and homosexuality in Iran." And the students in the audience laughed, and he was dead serious. He said, "Do you know some? Tell me who they are." Because they jail and or hang or behead homosexuals in Iran. ISIS throws these people off the tops of buildings, and if they don't die after the impact on the ground, the group on the ground who are chanting and cheering on those throwing them off the roof, they have had pictures. In fact, YouTube has had to take some of the pictures down. They literally go over and stomp on the heads of the survivors. But they're not labeled by the Southern Poverty Law Center, as far as I know, as a hate group. So now, if you're a conservative Christian who believes that not that homosexuals deserve to be thrown off buildings or hung or beheaded, or even jailed, but it's a sin that can be cleansed. If you say that, now you're hateful. I guess we can. I don't know. Maybe Christians ought to learn from Islam and just start throwing people off the roof. The Southern Poverty Law Center and the left doesn't seem to mind or care about that, do they? It just. And speaking of hate, here's a story from PJ Media. Twitter bans activist mommy for tweeting her dislike of Teen Vogue magazine's anal sex guide. Anybody hear about this? I didn't know that Teen Vogue has an anal sex guide. Do they know who well, it's called Teen Vogue. So who is their primary target audience? Yeah, well, teenagers, and not necessarily 18 and 19-year-old adult teens either. 13, 14, high schoolers. And of course, the subheadline is "This is too stupid to believe," but it's actually true. Twitter has banned writer Elizabeth Johnson, who writes at the activist mommy, for her war of words with Teen Vogue editor Philip Picardi. Now, the tweet that got the activist mommy banned was this. She writes, "Congrats, Philip. A sodomite mag just awarded you for teaching kids sodomy. Way to recruit there. At the Advocate mag, hashtag pull Teen Vogue." That got her banned. And this is due to Picardi okaying a guide to anal sex for teen girls in recent issues. You can't make this stuff up. You can't make this stuff up. Oh, yes, Ahmadinejad spoke at the New York University in New York. It was a while ago now. Well, it was while he was still president of Iran, so it's been a while. So Philip Picardi it tweets, to a growing population, Gen Z will be our queerest and most fearless generation yet. So I'm gathering that is what queer is. People who enjoy non-traditional heterosexual or homosexual sex. That's queer, I guess. Now, I could be wrong. I'm just trying to figure out what queer is, and nobody can really tell me what it is. But as far as from what I've been reading lately, that seems to be that is where I get my best guess so far. Yeah. It's hilarious. I mean, it's hilarious in the fact that it's also disgusting and sick that you would have a magazine geared towards teenagers, teen girls, telling them how to avoid normal, regular heterosexual sex by flipping themselves over and being penetrated from the other side. And this is they actually gave a guide or wrote a guide telling these teen girls, impressionable girls, exactly how to do. Can you imagine the conversation that these girls are having with their boyfriends? Jimmy, you know, I want to have sex with you, but I can't have it the regular way because I don't want to get pregnant, so we're going to do it real doggy style. Is this a magazine you'd let your daughter read?
Yes, love hurts. It can hurt emotionally, but more important, it can also hurt you physically. It can hurt you in a way which nobody who owns a hot tub and lives in California can afford to be unaware of. Yes, I'm talking about California hot tub rectal gonorrhea. This painful, incurable disease can make an enjoyable soak in a hot tub with family, friends, and dog into a literally unforgettable experience. If you catch California hot tub rectal gonorrhea, not only will you walk around feeling like you're about to pass a twisted sardine can lid, you'll also smell like a pile of burning tractor tires. So don't jump out of the frying pan and into the hot tub, because if you get California hot tub rectal gonorrhea, it'll really burn your ass.
This has been a public service message brought to you by the Citizens Against CHTRG Foundation. California hot tub rectal gonorrhea. We're not going to take it sitting down.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books-A-Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
You're listening to The Rod Eccles Show.
Indeed, you are listening to me. We're glad that you are here. Now, it is time for today's holidays. A big one today, by the way, on September 8th. Today is National Pledge of Allegiance Day. Yes, this is a good one, actually. This day was proclaimed by President George H.W. Bush in August of 1989 after Congress passed a resolution designating its establishment. Now, this day takes place on September 8th, marking the anniversary of the day the pledge first appeared in 1892 in the book The Youth's Companion. Now, the pledge was written by Francis Bellamy, a noted socialist Baptist minister, as they say, for the occasion of the 400th anniversary of the arrival of Christopher Columbus to the Americas. President Benjamin Harrison proclaimed October 12th as a day to commemorate Christopher Columbus and stated, "Let the national flag float over every schoolhouse in the country, and the exercises be as shall impress upon our youth the patriotic duties of American citizenship." Now, it's stated here that the exercise was meant to be referred to reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. And it was on this day that the pledge was first recited in schools. Now, of course, there have been different iterations of the pledge, as most of us well know. And it was originally written by Pastor Bellamy as, I pledge allegiance to my flag and the republic for which it stands, one nation indivisible with liberty and justice for all. Noting that under God, and the word my was changed to thee later in the 20th century. Now, there have been others as well. 5 years before Bellamy's pledge, George Balch, B-A-L-C-H, wrote a pledge that read, "We give our heads and hearts to God and our country. One country, one language, one flag." That kind of a pledge would not fly today. Oh, hell no. First of all, it's got God and one language in it. And one country. Yeah, liberals would not stand for that. If that were the pledge, they would have already sued to get that removed. They've already been trying to sue to get the line under God removed from the pledge. But that is the major holiday for today. Is that it is National Pledge of Allegiance Day. It is also International Literacy Day. It's National 401k Day. Yeah, so go and see if your employer will give you more money in your 401k if you have one. Today is also National Actors Day. That we may see that day be eliminated sometime in the future. Today is also National Ampersand Day, where you celebrate that weird symbol, literary symbol, the ampersand. It's also National Pardon Day. Pardon your sins, pardon your criminals, pardon everybody, I guess. I don't know. National pardon, it is what it is. Today is also National Date Nut Bread Day, and it has nothing to do with actually going on a date, either with a member of the opposite sex, same sex, or queer sex or whatever. Just National Date Nut. Date Nut Bread is actually pretty good. I like date nuts. Not somebody who's nutty over dating. It's also Pediatric Hematology Oncology Nurses Day. One of those things that I just could never do. It's also the Virgin Mary Day. It's also Stand Up to Cancer Day. And it's also World Physical Therapy Day. Yes, indeed. And those are your holidays for this day, September 8th. Now go out, and you want to piss off a liberal? Go out and stand in the middle of the street or at your city or town square or center and recite the American Pledge.
You might be surprised to learn who has Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis. Nearly 1 in 200 Americans are suffering with the debilitating pain and constant disruption of these inflammatory bowel diseases, or IBD. Chances are you know someone with IBD. For example, your neighbor or coworker. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation was created to help patients cope and to find a cure. People with IBD can't wait. Won't you help someone you know? Visit www.escapethestall.com today.
Were you born from 1945 to 1965? People born during these years are 5 times more likely to have hepatitis C. But most people don't know they are infected. So even if you try to eat right, exercise, and take care of yourself, you can still have hepatitis C, a serious liver disease that often has no symptoms. In fact, people can live with hepatitis C for decades without feeling or looking sick. But over time, hepatitis C can cause serious health problems, including liver damage, liver failure, or even liver cancer. Getting tested is the only way to know if you're infected with hepatitis C. That's why the CDC recommends everyone born from 1945 to 1965 get a blood test for hepatitis C. Treatments are available that can cure this disease. So talk to your doctor about getting tested. It could save your life. A message from the CDC.
Everyone is talking about healthcare these days. America spends twice that of other developed countries on our healthcare system, yet our health ranks near the bottom. How can we stop spending so much and getting so little? Shifting to a system based on primary care can help fix the problem. Patients with a primary care doctor live longer, healthier lives and are less likely to suffer from cancer, heart disease, or stroke. Primary care that is comprehensive and coordinated also saves money. Patients who have a primary care doctor spend 30% less on health care than patients who don't. States with a high number of primary care doctors have lower health care costs and higher quality care. Primary care can help make America healthy again. To learn more about the benefits of primary care, visit www.healthisprimary.org. This message is brought to you by America's Family Physicians.
It's been called shell shock, war neurosis, and battle fatigue. Today, we call it post-traumatic stress disorder, and it affects 1 out of every 5 warriors returning from battle in Iraq and Afghanistan. The Wounded Warrior Project offers comfort and support for warriors with PTSD and all other scars of war, whether those scars are visible or hidden. Find out how to help, because for warriors, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. Please visit woundedwarriorproject.org.
The Amazon's rainforest is being cut down so fast that by 2030, 55% of it could be completely wiped out. The Earth's forests can't speak up when they need help, but we can. Be the voice for those who have no voice. Visit worldwildlife.org.
There's a threat targeting America. One that's growing fast, but may still be hard to see. Lyme disease. Spread by tiny ticks, often smaller than the head of a pin. This dangerous disease is now more widespread than West Nile, tuberculosis, and HIV/AIDS combined. And if left untreated, it can lead to arthritis, facial paralysis, and even memory and concentration problems, often called brain fog. As the threat of Lyme disease grows to more than 300,000 projected cases each year, it's time for us to target Lyme disease. That means checking for ticks when you've been outside, even in your own backyard. It means seeing a doctor if you experience the symptoms of Lyme disease, which can include joint pain, flu-like symptoms, fever, fatigue, or sometimes a bullseye-shaped rash. Set your sights on stopping Lyme. Learn how you can target Lyme disease at targetlyme.org.
Dad, we need to talk.
Can we just enjoy the drive?
If you're not going to listen to me, who will we listen to?
Jeffrey.
Ah!
Marcia Gay Harden, what?
Eyes on the road, Dad.
What are you doing? What are you doing in my back seat? How did you get in here?
You're getting older.
Not that old.
Your brain's changing. It's natural.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Honey, I've got experience with this. Jeffrey, brain health is all about making the most of your brain as you age and helping to reduce some of the risks to your brain.
Really? Now that's interesting.
So, you'll talk to her about this, but not me. Marcia Gay Harden? Where did she go?
Learn what you can do to help keep your brain healthy at brainhealth.gov. She didn't say goodbye? I mean, I would have. Visit brainhealth.gov.
Hurricane news here that has directly out of the Caribbean, where it's been battering. Hurricane Irma has been battering the Caribbean relentlessly. Everybody needs to know that Sir Richard Branson is just fine. Yes, the outspoken, outlandish billionaire rode out the Hurricane Irma by hunkering down in his wine cellar as a Category 5 storm ripped through his private island with winds at 185 miles per hour. The Virgin boss had insisted, yes, the Virgin Company CEO, Virgin Airlines, Virgin just about everything. The Virgin boss had insisted on remaining on the island, but took to the concrete shelter with his family and staff when the worst of 185-mile-per-hour winds passed over Necker Island in the Caribbean. Now, how would you like to be a staff member of this guy? No, you're not leaving. We're just going to ride it out in my wine cellar. Well, I guess they didn't have to worry about water then, did it? Because they got wine instead. But and seriously, instead of evacuating the island, now this guy's a liberal, by the way. And he could have flown all of his family and staff members off the island, instead he stayed. Knowing how dangerous and how powerful this is, Category 5, everybody says, Cat 5, man, the biggest storm ever. He says, no, we're all going to stay and we're just going to hunker down in my wine cellar. Now, his son, Sam Branson, said late Wednesday afternoon that everybody on the island had survived. That's good news. But added that many of the luxury island's buildings had been destroyed. He said, glad to say that all humans on Necker are okay, although a lot of buildings are destroyed. I wonder what else was not. He said humans. So I wonder how many non-human lives were on the island that he didn't get out. When it comes to these rich liberal idiots, man, I used to like Richard Branson. I really, he's a self-made billionaire, self-made man. Yes, he's British, but that's irrelevant. And he's had some very sage businesses. This is the guy that that did a number of different strange things, flying a hot air balloon, tried to do that around the world, and just doing silly things like that. But I've come to realize he's a liberal idiot. I mean, this is true of a lot of the. I don't know what money does something to them, I guess, or maybe that once they get to a certain level, certain other rich people get a hold of him and say, well, now you got to believe this, or we're gonna break you or something. Don't doubt me that kind of stuff is often said to very wealthy, very flamboyant rich people who are self-made. But this guy's a nut job. You don't keep your staff, you keep them there? Well, I guess he needs a staff to help him clean up after most of the buildings on the island have been destroyed. I suppose. I don't know. Here's something that was not heavily reported by the lamestream media. Payrolls increase 156,000 in August as job creation cools a little bit. The U.S. economy created 156,000 jobs in August, while the unemployment rate edged up from 4.3 to 4.4%. Now, economists were expected the payrolls to grow by 180,000 in August, but only went up to, by 156. Now, understand that the unemployment rate edged up to 4.4% from 4.3% because more people re-entered the job market, the job hunting market. And that is because people are more optimistic about their economic future. So now they're out there looking for work again, for real work, which is a very good thing. In this particular case, when you see the number of jobs being created, but the unemployment rate still creeps up just a tad, it means more people are believing that they can find a good paying job again, and now who were out of the job hunt, as it were, are now back in, which means more people are going to go back to work. More people who are not working before but want to work or need to work will get a job, which means fewer people on government assistant payrolls, which means less poverty, which means liberals are going to begin to flip out. Because under Obama, the labor participation rate is rising. Now, under Obama, the labor participation rate, dive bombed, and people just stayed out of the workplace. They stayed out of the workforce. They didn't hunt for a job because they couldn't find the job they wanted. So the government decided, well, we're going to give you food stamps, we're going to give you this, we're going to give you that, we're going to give you 99 weeks of unemployment, and blah, blah. So everybody just stayed home because there were no jobs available anyway. So they stayed home and dropped out of the looking for work. Now we get Trump in office. Optimism in business rises. Businesses begin to expand. Businesses begin to hire. A lot of it has to do with the anticipation of there being some real type of tax reform. And right now the Republican-led Congress could kill. They're the only ones that could kill this economy right now. I hope they realize that. They could kill it. But there is optimism. So businesses are expanding. People are spending. People are saving and investing. More people are reentering the workplace or workforce. Jobs are people are hiring, so people are getting real paying, good paying jobs. Real unemployment is going down because labor participation is going up. And people are generally happy. Happier than they've been in the past 8 years. But this is why it's not being reported or touted by the lamestream media, because that's awful for them. We were told under Obama, this is the new America now. We got to, just like Europe, we got to be used to, higher unemployment and lower labor participation rates, just like Europe. We got to get used to more people being on government assistance. What they're saying is we need to get used to more people being in poverty, even though the Democrats are talking about trying to help people in poverty and get people out of poverty. They really don't want to help people and get people out of poverty. They want to impoverish more people because that means more people dependent on them, which means they keep their power. Well, that didn't work for them, did it? Speaking of happiness, Wall Street Journal has a report here. As workers expect less from their job satisfaction rises. So in other words, minimal raises and lean staffing have redefined what makes a good position because people are now starting to understand that their job is not everything. In other words, they're not expecting their employer to provide everything for them, and since they're starting to expect their employer to provide so much for them, they're finding that their job satisfaction is going up because they're depending more and more on themselves, not their employer. This is from the Wall Street Journal. Go figure that. You don't look for the government or your employer to take care of you, and so you become happier. Why isn't anybody else picking up on this? Americans are more optimistic because they're able to get jobs now. The prospect for getting a good job is going up, so they can take care of themselves. They're expecting less instead of more from their employer. Their job satisfaction is going up. All of this is the opposite of what Obama and the liberals have been telling us for years. And of course, the mainstream media doesn't want to report this because it would prove that they were wrong. This is good stuff. And this is something that the GOP-led Congress isn't getting yet. They better get on board pretty damn quick, or they're going to find themselves. I know what they're really banking on. Now, don't doubt me on this. What the GOP is really banking on is that they're banking on the fact that the American people have outed the Democrats from political power all over the country. And the GOP is banking on that sentiment is going to carry through, because if you don't vote for a GOPer, what are you going to do? You're going to elect a Democrat and bring back the wonderful bad old days of Obama? That's what they're banking on. Well, I hope the American voter gives them a shock by ousting some of these incumbents and then electing some new real conservatives. That's the kind of shock that the GOP is going to need. It's just amazing. Talk about swamp negativity. I mean, Mitch McConnell is sitting up there thinking, well, American people aren't going to put the Democrats back in power. It's going to bring back the good old bad days of Obama. So we can just sit up here and do nothing. I really hope that they get a shock in the primaries. They better. They better get a full and complete jolt. And but this is good news, though, folks, that people are expecting less from other people to make them happy and more dependent on making themselves happy. And when you start believing that your job isn't going to provide everything for you. I mean, you get a lot of people that are Silicon Valley. As much money as those people are making over in Silicon Valley, like at Google, Facebook, and all those other places like that, you get these former employees over there from these companies. You think, oh, you got everything, man. Your employer is giving you everything. You don't have to do anything. You don't even have to own a house if you work at places like Google or Apple. So they've come to depend on their employer to provide them for everything. But then they realize, you know what? We're basically a newfangled slave. We expect so much now from our employer, but our employer in return expects total and complete devotion. And so people are miserable. And they leave. So expecting less from your employer, in other words, don't expect your employer to provide, free cafeterias and gourmet lunches and dinners and showers and health clubs and stores. And yeah, I think Google has a store in its main headquarters, does it not? Well, I mean, and they've got places in there in various parking lots around Google where you could park your RV. Because there are a lot of Google employees that don't buy houses, they buy RVs. Why? Because they say, well, we're here all the time anyway, 6 or 7 days a week. Why should I buy a house? I'd never see it. But they're not happy. So they leave and they go up oftentimes for less pay to other companies or start up their own companies, and they expect less from their employer, and they're happier. Job satisfaction rises, production and performance increases. It's just amazing how that works. When you depend on somebody else for your happiness less, you become happier. Amazing. I know this is newfangled stuff for leftists. I mean, these are they don't realize this stuff until it's obviously often too late. They're knee deep or hip deep in the muck of expectancy, and they wonder why they're not happy. Well, I was told if I expected this and I got this, I'd be happy, but I'm miserable. Well, you have those of us who are logical and who are conservative that tried telling them they were not going to be happy if they got it. And yet they need to translate that over to government. The more government provides you, the more government controls you, the less happy you're going to be. When you shuck off the chains of government, guess what? You become more free and you become happier. Yeah, the lamestream media isn't going to report that at all.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
There's a Taco Bell in Pittsburgh that gives new meaning to their old slogan, "Run for the border" type of thing. You know, going into Mexico. It was the old, I guess you could say, the old West style justice happened at a Pittsburgh area Taco Bell, where two masked gun-toting robbers entered a Taco Bell. It's amazing, actually. This is reported out of a Pittsburgh CBS local. I stand corrected. It was not in Pittsburgh. It was in Cleveland. Police say 3 employees of a Cleveland Taco Bell opened fire on 2 armed robbers, killing one of them. Yes. This actually happened. Wednesday, Dateline Cleveland, Wednesday. Police said 2 masked robbers entered the restaurant early Wednesday and ordered 3 employees to lie on the floor. 3 other Taco Bell employees then pulled out handguns and opened fire, shooting one of the suspects 6 times. The other suspect ran off. Now, I don't know how many shots were fired, but I commend them for hitting one of the robbers 6 times. That means 2 shots apiece on average hit their mark. The Cayuga County Medical Examiner's Office on Thursday said the man killed was 24-year-old DeCarlo Jackson. There's a combination of names again. It's DE''CARLO, DeCarlo Jackson. Now, investigators say Jackson was found on the floor in the Taco Bell with a loaded gun in his hand. He was taken to the area hospital and later pronounced dead. No one has been arrested. The employees who opened fire are said to be 2 19-year-olds and a 23-year-old men. Taco Bell spokesman told Cleveland.com that the company is shocked by the shooting and is offering counseling to the employees. How about being shocked by having an attempted armed robbery? That's what they're shocked over staffers fighting back. And this is insanity. Well, I'm sure that these 3 men are probably going to be fired because I'm sure Taco Bell has a gun-free zone policy, and these 3 guys probably knew better. Now, I don't know if Taco Bell, a lot of companies have a no-gun policy, gun-free zone policy, and I don't know if Taco Bell does or doesn't. But most likely they do. And I don't know any employer that really allows, unless they're in the business of needing to be armed, allow their employees to come to work armed. That's supposed to be a no-no in any corporation. Unless they're in security or law enforcement, they don't usually allow people to come to work that way. So I'm sure these 3 will be fired. But that's I say good for them. Good on you. Finally today, there is something from an outlier website called BGR.com. And they're claiming, they have a story here in their science section that says scientists have remotely hacked a brain controlling body movements. Imagine someone remotely controlling your brain, forcing your body's central processing organ to send messages to your muscles that you didn't authorize. Yes, it's incredibly scary thought. You think? But scientists have managed to accomplish this science fiction nightmare for real, albeit on a much smaller scale, and they were even able to prompt their test subject to run, freeze in place, or even completely lose control over their limbs. And of course, the writer Mike Wehner, Wehner, has to add in this stupidity. Thankfully, he writes, the research will be used for good rather than evil. What? Now you're telling me that science fiction about controlling other people is now becoming science fact. And we're supposed to expect it to be used for good? No. This is another one of those areas, oh yeah, we can do it, but nobody stopped to ask the question, but should we? I mean, what kind of... There is very little good about hacking somebody else's brain and having control over their bodily functions. Well, medical reasons, Rod. I mean, they could get people to heal faster or what have you. No, I don't think that's the way it actually is going to work out. Honestly thinking, it's bad enough that we get people that can now hack cars and control your car while you're in it and driving. Now they want to be able to hack your body and control it. Isn't that wonderful? It gives new meaning to freeze ray, does it not? I can just see it now. Cops will want this in order to be able to stop criminals. See, it can be used for good. Well, that's all the time we got, not only for today, but for the week. Have yourselves a great weekend, everybody. We'll be back here on Monday. Until then, enjoy your freedom while you still have it. I'm Rod Eccles. Thanks for listening. I'm out.
Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. A shameless politician always plays her cards right. Got a crew for the fight on the airwaves. Left dogs in the press keep the mouths tight. Cause a Clinton never needs to explain what, why it is what they done or with who. A real Clinton knows that they're entitled, and you don't get to know what they do.
What difference does it make?
For a Clinton, what's loaded in some fat apple file? A Clinton plays the victim for promotion. A Clinton kills it off with a smile. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. A server full of secrets ain't no thing. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. Nothing ever hits with the sting.